Welcome to After the 80. I'm your host today, Anthony Bomber Breeze, as Terry has got the man flu. On today's show, we will take a look at last week's results in the ISC, catch up with Ali Brigginshaw from the Queensland Maroons and the Broncos, Jason Connors, coach of Ipswich Brothers and XQ Cup player, and we'll also cross to Steve Vivian from Tweed Daily News. Well, like I said earlier, joining me in the absence of Terry is new Brisbane Bronco and Queensland Maroon, Ali Brigginshaw. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
That's it. Big time in Ladies Rugby League at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge year, and I think we're just taking game by game and just staying injury-free.
Very good. Also joining me on the desk today is Jason Connors, XQ Cup player with Eastern North. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Bomber. Thanks. Glad to be here.
You still catch up with a few of the mates around the two clubs you played for?
Yeah, I'm getting old in age now, but I still talk to a few boys that are playing for South, East and North, so still got a few boys floating around in the Queensland Cup.
Yeah, and what are you up to these days?
Now it's coaching director and junior development at Brothers Ipswich. I've been there since 2010 and A-grade coach, so enjoying my time at Brothers. It's a good club and loving rugby league.
All right, well, welcome to the show. If you would like to join the discussion, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for Phoenix Media Hub, like the page and comment below. Let's have a look at the results from round 14 of the Intrust Super Cup. Well, we saw the TV game. We saw the Northern Pride get up with a sideline conversion, which won them the game 30-24. We see the Sunny Coast Falcons beat the Magpies in a very good game. The Blackhawks had a big win over East, and the Tweed Seagulls got a 1-point win over the Central Capras. What game caught your eye there, Ali?
Just the Wynnum and Ipswich game for Ipswich to try and come back from being 4 tries down. I think it makes it hard for them, but you know, those close games, they really kill you letting in those 4 tries early. Yeah,
well, obviously you can't let a team get 4 tries in the first half and have to catch up in the second half, can you?
Yeah, catch-up football's the worst, so no, I don't think the Jets like doing that. I think they like to play a free game and score points early, so that must have been hard trying to come back.
Yeah. Jason, obviously an ex-East man there, they copped a bit of a touch-up from the Blackhawks, 32-0.
They certainly did, and I was talking to Scott Sipple earlier that week, and he did mention he's got a few players out, missing a few fronties up front. That didn't help, and I think Billy Walters is now in the 9. So that doesn't help their combinations, but it's 36 players, I think he said he went through since round 8, so that's a lot of players, a lot of turnover, but you know, you got to still put results on the board.
What's he say to the players this week after the attack obviously didn't turn up and the defence never turned up either? What's he look at more, the attack or the defence or the attitude?
Well, I think the attitude. You know you're up against it. You know you got players out of position, but you still got to man up. And 32-0's not good enough. I'm sure they're going to do a lot of work during the week on fixing that result for this week.
Well, from his sickbed, Terry's game of the round was the Tweed Heads versus Central game. Well, obviously this was a very close game. It was won by Tweed Heads 13-12. So what did you take out of this game?
I think it was a defensive effort. It was a night game up at Central. Tweed, been travelling the comp pretty well. They seem to get the play certain players every week playing. Not like East. They've got a same side week in, week out, and you can see results are clicking, combinations are clicking, and they get the result done.
Ali, obviously Tweed have been the form team of the competition probably over the last couple of weeks there, with the inclusion of the Titan star like Kane LG. Wasn't going real good in QRL. He's come back and he's had a couple of quite good games for Tweed.
Yeah, some of the players that do come back really bring spark to these teams, and I think it gives them confidence as a team. Like if they're not going too well up at the top grade, when they come back, they are noticed in every team they come back in, they really bring something.
Yeah, Jason, obviously they lost Braden McGrady a couple of weeks ago there. They've also got another couple of injury clouds, but Lyndon McGrady has stepped up. He kicked the sideline conversion against the Jets a couple of weeks ago, and now he stepped up in that game and kicked the field goal for their win.
Well, the McGrady's got a big name, haven't they, in rugby league? And I think when McGrady's running, they're successful. And I just seen that LG is running as well. He took the line on 3 or 4 times in that clip, and when he's running, he's dangerous. And I think that's what he lacked at the Titans, bringing it back to Intrust Super Cup running, and they're effective. So
yeah, very good. The game that I thought was the pick of the round was the Burleigh Northern Pride game, which was obviously the TV game. Burleigh got away and scored the first try. The others come back and scored two quick tries, but then Burley got 4 tries in towards the second half. What did you take of this game, Jason?
Well, it was seesawing. You see Burley come out with a good lead. The tack's on, very crisp. Like I said, Burley are sharp. Pride, young, never give up, and stuck in the game and got at the back end.
The inclusion of Ben Hampton, Ali, for the Pride there, obviously that would have been a big bonus coming back from the Cowboys there, and he had probably a man of the match performance.
Yeah, like I said, when they come back to the game, to the Intrust, they really bring something. It gives the team confidence, and I know myself when you're away from your club team, and when you come back, you just feel the confidence in the team rise, and that just shows in that game there.
Jason, we've seen this game goes right down to the wire. I've been seeing the second half. Burley get a few quick tries and they race away, obviously being led by Jamal Fogarty here with a great game. But this is Ben Hampton, who we spoke about earlier there. He's got a bit of speed too, and he runs the length.
Yeah, speed, you can't buy it, and if you got it, it's necessary in rugby league, and he's got a lot of it. So just following up the middle, backing himself, playing fullback, which is a different role for him, it was successful, and they got the result, which is good for Burley, good for Pride.
So when Burley were ahead, do you just shut games up? Like they were 8 or 10 points ahead towards the end of the game. Yeah. Do you shut games up, or do you just keep playing your normal game?
Yeah, when you are ahead, you need to complete your sets and just making sure you're getting to that 6th tackle, and that's one thing that teams do struggle with is closing the game. They think they still have to score points, but I think you just got to complete your sets. Yeah,
well, obviously completing your sets, but obviously a good goal kicker is essential too, and Jake Clifford, after the hooter, converts it.
Yeah, exactly. Goal kicking is 2 points, and 2 points is very important. You see teams now going for 2 points with the penalty right in front. They'll take the 2 now. So 2 points. If you've got a good goal kicker, they all add up, and they've got the result.
Yeah, very well. That footage was courtesy of the QRL media. If you'd like to see all the highlights from round 14 of the Intrust Super Cup, please head to qrl.com.au. Coming up shortly, we will catch up with Steve Vivian, sports reporter for the Tweed Daily News. But first, let's have a look at the competition ladder after round 14. And the ladder, Burley on top still after a loss, and obviously Redcliffe was second last week. The Blackhawks have overtaken them now. South stay up there after their loss, but obviously you can see Tweed now have jumped onto the top page, and obviously the Pride too. Anything there that catches your eye, Joe?
Pretty even table. You got Wynnum on 12, Ipswich on 12, just below them. They can knock over the top sides, as you see. Sides are competing. There's not much in it between the top and the bottom. So on a good day, teams can knock anyone off.
Anything there that you see that's out of whack there, or you see a team that you think's overperforming, or?
Just those couple of teams around the middle on 18, and then Tweed heads on 16. I think Tweed might come up to the top towards the end of the year.
Yeah, well, obviously if they keep the Titans players, obviously they're on the roll. If we move on to the second page, we can see that Papua New Guinea have started to rise. The Jets have moved down a couple of positions there, but CQ, which are on the bottom, lost to Tweed last week. So obviously every team's capable of beating any team, Jason.
Well, exactly, and you're right. Every team's got quality players. It'd be tough playing in the Intrust Super Cup now with the quality of players around. Not so long ago, when I was playing, not so many feeder clubs. Now everyone's got a feeder club, and there's so much strong talent floating around. And like you said, Wynnum are still in the hunt. East, Ipswich, and New Guinea. So you wouldn't be surprised if you see them in the top 4 as well.
So obviously, with a nice close competition, it's good that the team 14 is still capable of beating team 1.
Yeah, and that'll be a big game on Friday. Ipswich Jets versus Papua New Guinea. The winner really moving up there. So we'll just see. I think Papua New Guinea coming here and playing on a Friday night should bring a big crowd there on Friday.
Yeah, so obviously rounding out the ladder, like we said, CQ Capra's on 8 and Mackay Cutter's on 8. As we saw earlier, Tweed Heads were back in the winner's circle with a 1-point victory in Rockhampton. Joining us from the Tweed Heads Daily News is sports reporter Steve Vivian. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
Pleasure to be here, thank you.
What was your take on the 1-point victory from the weekend?
Just with a broad brush, after the win, that's 7 out of 8 for the Seagulls. And when they run out with their core of Titans players like Kai Cooper, Kane Elgee, Brandon Elliott, Ryan Simpkin, they're extremely hard to beat. They're one of, if not the best team in the competition right now. Another one is Lyndon McGrady. His name's been in the headlines, well, not so much his name, but his cousin's name, Braden McGrady. But Lyndon's flying under the radar a bit. He kicked the winning field goal at the weekend to put them up in the 78th minute, and he also won him a game with an after the siren kick, if you remember back in round 10 against Ipswich, with a huge kick from halfway. So he's at the heart of everything they do right now, and he's been in great form.
A couple of weeks ago, we broke the news that Braden McGrady had a season-ending injury. What was the diagnosis? Is he out for the season?
He is out for the season, so it was a huge blow for the Seagulls. He ruptured his ACL. At the time, he was the leading try scorer in the ISC. So luckily for him, he just put pen to paper on a 2-year deal starting in 2019 with Penrith. So it was a roller coaster week for Braden, but he's out for the year.
Yeah. Obviously, he'll be a big loss for Tweed. Braden's not the only one with a serious injury after last weekend. What's the latest team news?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the Seagulls are holding their breath right now over a possible ruptured ACL to captain Shane Whitelaw. It's unconfirmed, but I just have recently spoke to Seagulls president Paul Stevenson, who said, quote, "We're resigned to the fact that we've lost Shane for the year, but we haven't received confirmation." When I asked Stevenson what impact it would have, he said, quote, "We've had big hits in the last couple of weeks, losing Braden and now possibly Shane too. Shane has been a big part of our resurgence and has been central to driving a positive and accountable culture at the club." So everyone's holding their breath down at Tweed, and hopefully the worst fears are not realised for the skipper.
Yeah, well, obviously after losing Braden, they obviously won't want to lose him. Tweed have a big task this weekend going up against Norths, who just beat Redcliffe. How many Titans players will Tweed have this week?
It's looking like it will be another solid squad. Kane Elgee has been named on the extended bench for the Titans, but Tweed are hopeful they'll retain him. Kane would be a big loss. He's been really instrumental and fantastic with organising the backs and sort of giving the players direction around the field and good short kicking, fifth tackle kicking. So, but I think they'll retain quite a few of their core players, and it should be a really good game. Norths pipped them in round 2, but I'm confident that Tweed might get up in the reverse fixture and get one back.
Oh, well, good answer. Well, let's see how they go. Thanks for your time today, Steve.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much to Steve Vivian from the Tweed News. Well, now it's interview time with our special guest, Ali Brigginshaw. Like I said, welcome to the show, Ali there. Big news last week with the signing of a Brisbane Broncos contract. Must have been huge.
That was huge. Just something I never thought would actually come true, and it has. And I don't think it'll be real until the end of the year when I'm pulling that jersey on and pulling those socks on to get out on the field and be a Bronco. It's just really exciting, and I can't wait to see who the rest of the team are.
So obviously the Brisbane Broncos is who you supported, who you wanted to play for? Yeah,
I've supported them ever since I was little, so it was just a no-brainer. And they were really, really keen to get me on board. It's just like a family. They're a really family-orientated club, and it was just, I felt the vibe as soon as I walked in those doors.
So obviously a little bit more about yourself. You did play rugby league from an early age for the North Tigers in the Ipswich competition. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So I started when I was 11, playing with the boys and just with my brother and playing out in the backyard. It started, and then I just wanted to go over. So I started at North Ipswich Tigers, where my brother played, my dad played, and just wanted to follow in their footsteps. And Norths were a really good junior club, so they taught me a lot. And then I went on to play some rep footy as under 11s against some of the biggest names in the game today.
So obviously your dad Larry was a big BRL player back in the day. What has he instilled in you?
Yeah, he's really been great for me throughout the whole thing. He's just really, he picks up those little things that, you know, your coach might not tell you, but he might bring up that one missed tackle or that one break that you made that was really good, or just something. He always just brings something, and it helps my game.
So obviously we moved to 2015, obviously a year that was not your best there. Triple leg break. Was that nearly the end of your career?
Yeah, it was horrible, but it's rugby league, that happens. And at the time I thought maybe this was it and I might have to go into coaching or something, but I ended up getting through. I took up some boxing, which really helped me with my fitness and confidence getting back into the game, and slowly, but yeah, got there eventually in 2016.
So Ali, the World Cup, you guys were successful. What was the experience like? Also, how did you find your leadership role as a half in that competition?
Yeah, this the whole campaign. We set a goal at the start of the year that we wanted to take out the World Cup, and if we were going to do it, we had to be fit. We had to have a good team bond, and the coaching staff were great. We just had to have a good vibe throughout the whole team, and I think that really showed. 6 weeks prior to the World Cup, we had a really intense fitness program that was training 5 to 7 days a week and having that one rest day, and I think that really showed in the end. Like, it was a close game, but that 6 weeks before the World Cup final, I think really helped us.
Yeah. So obviously you've been selected now in the Queensland Origin team, which we'll get up on the screen there now. Obviously, that's a very strong team there. Who are some of the standout players that we should be looking for?
I'm excited to see Meitua Federica. She is a Kiwi Fern. She's come over here to pursue her football, and she's just a really good hitter. They'll definitely know that she's out there next week. And it's good to see who we got. We got some young ones. Rhiannon Ravel-Blair, she's only 17 and she's going to pull on a Queensland jersey. That's really exciting. She's come through the junior program, and it's good to see that those programs and that she's in that women's team now. Meg Ward, another one, first time playing for Queensland. She's an exciting player and she's very strong. She's great just to have in the team.
And it's also good to have some of your brothers' teammates in the side, Cody and Amelia there.
Yeah, definitely, and also playing alongside Brittany. We've just got a good combination, those girls, and it's good for Ipswich to get so many in there, and they all deserve to be there, and it's going to be a good game.
New South Wales have also named a very strong side. There obviously no Ruan Sims there. She got injured there, but they've named a really strong side. From the Nationals there, the one I was impressed with was Sam Brebner. Yeah,
and it's great to see her back. She's had a really tough 6 months or so with an injury, and it's just good to see. Like, we're playing against each other, but it's just good to see her come back, and to get Player of the Carnival last weekend was awesome. I think we're all really proud of her, and yeah, she'll be tough next week, and she's playing in fullback next week. She played in the halves on the weekend, so she's really a utility player that can cause some danger there.
So obviously, as well as the on-field performances that you do, you're a great now ambassador for Women's Rugby League. We see your photo now up on posters there. You do a lot in the Ipswich competition out at Rosewood there. I've seen you out there, and you also just did a recent thing where you went over to the North Tigers to tell them that they're playing in Sydney? Yeah. So I really like to get out in the Ipswich community and just make those younger girls feel a part of it, part of my journey, and want them to inspire to, play for the Broncos, play for Queensland, play for Australia, and pull on those jerseys. Last week I went out and I told the under-10 North Tigers girls that they were flying to Sydney to play pre-game of the Holden Women's State of Origin. So they couldn't believe it. They were like, no, this isn't real. But some of those girls haven't even been on a plane before. So thanks to Holden for getting them there, and it's going to be really exciting next week seeing them there playing before the game. Obviously that's very good. Halfbacks and 5'8" there, when they ask them what's their best attribute there, a lot of them say they like passing the ball, kicking, running the ball, but you like more tackling. Yeah. I've always, when I was younger, I played in dummy half, and back then you couldn't run. You could only tackle, so that was all I did. I just stayed on the field and just wanted to tackle the big forwards. But, in that game, you can't have a forward, you can't have a half that can't tackle. So I really worked on my defence, and we cop a lot. The back rowers just try and run over the top of us. So I've just really made sure I work on it. And when I play, I make sure I get that first hit in, and then the rest seems to come. Obviously, after rugby league finishes there, you're a Golden Gloves boxing as well as touch football. Do you think you might get into one of them, or be too old to? I probably will go back to boxing. I love it. It's a really challenging sport, and when you're in that ring, you're on your own, and it's different to league. You got a team out there to support you, but boxing really just you find yourself in there, and you got to really dig deep for yourself. Yeah. All right. Good luck in the Origin, which will be played at North Sydney Oval. Yep. Thank you. Now let's take a look at this week's games in the Intrust round of 15. We have the Ipswich Jets and PNG playing on Friday night. You'll be heading out to that one, Ali?
Yeah, definitely. Love a bit of Friday night footy and to get out and support the Jets against PNG, who are a real exciting team.
What game there, Jason, are you looking forward to?
Well, I always look into the East game and South. I've got Philly Dennis, is a good mate of mine. He's down at South there, and they've been going along well. So that'll be a really good clash at Davies Park against Redcliffe on Sunday. So I'll be tuning into those ones.
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, the East Tigers there obviously need to hit back at home against CQ.
Yeah, a tough game against Capras. They've been travelling all right, and East have got a few out. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires with that game.
Yeah, so obviously we've got some very good games. Obviously, just a reminder, the Ipswich PNG game will be played Friday night, obviously due to the Ipswich Cup, and the Tweed Norse game will be the Channel 9 game. Well, that's all we have time for on today's show. Also, we'd like to say a big thank you to Ali. Let's hope you smash the Blues, even though I'm a Blues supporter. Well, hope you have a good game yourself. Also, thanks to Steve Vivian from the Tweed Daily News. If you would like to keep up to date with the show, make sure you head to our Phoenix page, Phoenix Media Hub, and comment away. Jason, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
And to all you that watch the greatest game of all and watch our show, thank you very much, and see you next week.